There are still some places in this world where the sight of breathtaking natural beauty is only surpassed by the insurmountable spirit of the people. It's where the wild is still the wild, and the plains stretch as far as the eyes can see. It's where the welcomes are as warm as the hearts of the locals, and the ancestors have laid the groundwork for a brighter tomorrow. This is South Africa. All right, we just touched down in South Africa, and we're here in Johannesburg. I was hired to shoot a project for the South African Tourism Board, and while I'm here, I'll be recording my own adventure and taking you along for the ride. Johannesburg is the largest city in South Africa, and has been at the center of its cultural and artistic revival. Areas like Maboneng are flush with markets and restaurants that many have likened to our own Williamsburg area. This is the new face of Africa. But the South Africa of today is very different than it was just a few short decades ago. Before we go throughout the countryside and see the sights, we're gonna go check out some history and culture at the Apartheid Museum. You can't talk about where South Africa's going without talking about where it's been. I meet up with local historian Mtatuzi for a quick history lesson. What is apartheid? For somebody who just doesn't know, tell me about this system.
Well, apartheid is a system which had one mechanism, and that was to separate people of color from the whites and keep them separated in every aspect of life.
Now, if you don't remember, apartheid was a diabolical system of segregation that lasted over 40 years and only ended in the 1990s, after mounting world pressure and diligent work from South Africa's freedom fighters. What is the importance of a museum like this?
To educate people, especially the youth, about the difficulties that South Africa had experienced, so we can always strive to perfect the current as well as the future of this country.
And the future of this country has a lot to do with the life and experiences of one of its native sons, Nelson Mandela. After spending half of his life in prison, he returned to guide his nation out of darker times through a process of truth and reconciliation. I asked Mtatuzi, what was the legacy Mandela left behind?
Forgive and respect, those were the two elements that he has left South Africa to adhere to.
And in doing so, those brave souls would change the trajectory of a nation. My next stop takes me just outside the main city of Johannesburg to an area called Soweto, a place Mandela called home. But I'm here for a far less revolutionary reason. Soweto is home to KWA Lechaba, and I'm told it's one of the best places in town to find one of South Africa's favorite pastimes. We call it barbecue, they call it a braai. Either way, it's grilled meat, so I'm all in. So I link up with one of the locals to get an inside track on one of South Africa's delicacies.
This is a braai area of which all the magic is happening. We're doing wors, steak, boerewors, chicken. It can be a choice of pork as well. It's quite nice, it's quite nice.
Well, all of this talk about food is making me really hungry, so I think we should go eat, yeah?
Certainly, why not?
Come on, let's go. Outside the braai pit, we find a lively scene where the vibes are as hot as a freshly grilled meat and just as good. I'll definitely be coming back here. South Africa is fast becoming one of the world's top wine producers. In the lush vineyards of the Franschhoek region of the Western Cape, I find a hidden gem. This incredibly beautiful and award-winning vineyard has an artistic feel and has put a modern touch on a very old tradition.
This is Grand Provence. It is a 300-year-old heritage wine estate. The French Huguenots arrived here. They had a bit of a fallout in France because of religious reasons. And in 1690, they were told to go to South Africa and start the wine business, teach the South Africans how to grow vines and make wine.
As wine becomes more popular around the world, communities like this one stand to benefit from a growing industry.
It's become a massive driver of tourism and the economy. It's about 3 to 5% of the GDP is just wine. It drives 300,000 jobs.
And a lot of those jobs come from the communities that surround the vineyards, giving young men and women a career opportunity that could take them around the world. So what's next for wine culture in South Africa?
I think the time is really ripe now because there's a style and a price and a label for everybody. But it's 100% natural living product. It's on the vine, it gets fermented naturally, and then it gets put into a bottle. It's probably the most natural wine you can drink outside of water.
Well, Ivan, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you.
From the history books to the heartland, this has been an awesome first leg of my journey. Can't wait to see what's next.
Wow, what a beautiful country. So you're here all week.
All week long.
What do we have to look forward to next?
Well, we are going to go on safari, which is one of my dreams.
Yeah, for
You're mere feet away from lions.
Absolutely, lions, tigers, and bears. No bears.